Hello everyone, and thanks for watching our weather update on the 4th of January 2023. So again, we're going through all the models on weathercentral.d and going through the weather for the next couple of weeks or so, seeing what they're showing. It's looking quite unsettled into January, so here we go. Let's go through it then. Starting off with a GFS as always. Going through tomorrow, we see this low pressure coming in off the Atlantic to bring very, very strong winds to Northern Ireland and Western Scotland. That clears through then, and we get this very, very, very deep beast of a low pressure off the Atlantic. Well, it started around Greenland and tracked down through the Labrador Sea and out into the Atlantic, and is coming for us now into the first weekend of January. So very, very strong winds, very, very wet. Well, the thing is, once the initial band of rain that comes through at the start of the low pressure clears through, we have mainly showers coming around the low pressure, and there'll be some convergence zones around it where the showers are enhanced. And as we've got all this cold air coming from Svalbard and Greenland around the low pressure into Ireland, we will see these showers being intense, very, very intense, and possibly even torrential in places, with hail, thunder, and lightning, the winteriness of a high ground in the west and north. And of course, even though we've got the wind from Greenland and Svalbard around the low pressure, it's got such long sea tracks, so by the time it gets to us, it'll be moderated and therefore just a bit chilly, not too cold. Not cold enough for like widespread snow, put it that way. Then that low pressure clears away into the North Sea by Tuesday, January 10th, and we go quite mild there for a time into Wednesday, January 11th, before more low pressure in off the Atlantic comes through. That's quite deep, bit of a storm there on January 12th at midnight. Very, very tightly packed isobars there across the south, mainly hitting Wales and England, but that's something to watch if it comes off. And then we go a bit colder there into January 12th with a northerly blast. But then we push through into the middle of January, and similar to yesterday's GFS 12Z run, high pressure builds in from the south to make things drier, but still very, very mild. If we put on the upper air temperatures, you can see the 0 Celsius isotherm coming through with a 5 Celsius isotherm in the Atlantic at 850 HPA. And then going through, then we see more low pressure off the Atlantic to break down the high pressure, so we go wetter there into the 16th of January before the high pressure comes back around the 18th of January into the 19th. And this time it goes more over us, like as in not to our south, but over the country. So although we've got these very mild upper air temperatures, 5 Celsius isotherm through the country, it does mean that if we have clear skies by nights, that we will see frost and fog. This is very similar to last winter's pattern. We saw high pressure to our south, but close enough to bring us frost and fog, and quite mild days at the same time with sunshine. And then as we go through, we go milder with the high pressure moving eastwards, and we pull up a southerly wind in between the high pressure over Germany and the low pressure in the Atlantic. So we lose the frost and fog by then, I think. And just look at this big low pressure around northern Scandinavia, Svalbard. Big, big, big cold plunge from Greenland into Scandinavia. That'd be bitterly cold if this is correct, if this verifies. That polar vortex is really, really strong. ECMWF then, this hasn't got the 12th out yet, but the 6th set only goes to 90 hours. So it's a bit short. So we do the midnight run instead. Hover. There we go. So again, we see that low pressure coming in tomorrow off the Atlantic. There you go. Be quite a deep feature by the time it comes to the northwest of Ireland and Scotland. So a bit stormy, but then that clears off into Scandinavia, and we get more low pressure in off the Atlantic. That's that very deep low I was talking about. I've been going on about this low pressure for days now, actually. I've been saying a low pressure out of Greenland will come and bring stormy weather. Yeah, that sort of thing. So that ends up coming in. and gives us a battering of wind, rain, showers, hail, possibly even thunderstorms. As it's we got cold air over warm sea surface temperatures that gave us all the storms since October, pretty much. Same sort of situation. Most of the showers in the west, but if we get some features coming in, we'll get a lot of rain or hail in the east as well if they come through. And then that low pressure slowly heads away, it fills and dies out pretty much before the next low pressure in off the Atlantic comes through, brings us a battering of rain and winds, and on it goes, on and on it goes. That little low pressure there, really, really stormy for England, especially for southwest England. Not so much for Ireland, but we're very, very wet on the northern side of the low pressure. Let's look at how the upper air temperatures are looking. Yeah, so you can see a nice warm sector through there. That's fueling the low pressure system. And that clears through. And we go colder at the end of the ECMWF run. With a northerly wind, -5 Celsius ice therm, just getting to the very north of Ireland. And then UK Met run. The hover. We go through then, and the low pressure again, quite a stormy feature into Scotland. And then we see that deep low pressure in off Greenland. Very, very stormy low pressure. You can see that quite nicely, actually, that this is a really big beast because we got the blue and purple colours on around this low pressure. Now, the colours that you see on this map are based on the pressure that we're seeing at 500 HPA, which is very high up in the atmosphere. And generally, as you go higher up, the pressure, the general pressure weakens off. It gets lower, and you can see on the scale down here. If I zoom in, you can see that these red colors, crimson, is representative of 600 millibars of pressure at 500 HPA, while the very, very dark purples here are representative of pressure below 500 millibars at 500 HPA. And normally we don't get these purple colours quite close to the UK. These are normally associated with the polar vortex around Greenland and Iceland. So it really does show that this low pressure is a real beast. It's really deep. A lot of activity going around it, so that's something to watch. And then as we go through, that low pressure goes northwards and fills, and that dies off. We go a bit cooler before next low pressure in off the Atlantic. Just battering from low pressure, rain and winds, and of course it is quite mild. Going into the GEM run then, we see same story, low pressure tomorrow, quite wet and windy. There's actually a hint of a score line on the models, especially for the south of the country in the evening, so that's something to watch. Then we go into a very, very wet and windy spell, as I said, through the first weekend of January. Deep low pressure just to our north, spiraling in bands of rain showers, wintry on high ground, hail, thunder, lightning, you name it, it'll be going on this weekend. And then we see further low pressure off the Atlantic. Like you see, this is a good example of what I was talking about earlier. This only has the light blue colours in, which is about 524 millibars. That low pressure over the weekend was about 492 millibars, so that was really a beast. And then going through, just more low pressure off the Atlantic. Same old. We're about to get a big push of warm air from the southwest into mid-January. You can see it waiting. This cold snap won't last for long. And then going into the Icon run, as usual, we want 6-hour intervals and hover. And then we just, again, low pressure tomorrow. Weekend, we see a big stormy system coming in from the west. If you want to load, there we go. Big stormy system in from the west. Just spiraling in bands of rain and showers, thunderstorms, even quite cold air in from Greenland as well. And then that clears through into Monday, January 9th. But then more low pressure comes in. Same old. Loads of westerly winds, rain, wind, showers. just a normal Irish winter, I suppose. And then the arpege run, hover. This is the French run, by the way. Again, we see low pressure tomorrow, quite deep for the north, quite deep to our north. Strong winds in the north, should I say. And then again, we see that big stormy system coming in from Greenland. So yeah, we see that we get a battering, we get a big battering there into Sunday and Monday. That's the pressure stays there, it fills, so and that will die off if we could run it 24 hours into the future. So we're in for quite a battering this weekend. And finally, the JMA run, 6 hour intervals, hover. Into tomorrow again, we see that low pressure coming in, and then that big low pressure comes in for the weekend, big stormy system, and we finish midnight on Sunday. Low pressure just to the west of Scotland. Around it, we pull in quite chilly northwesterly wind, you can see, and we're wet and windy. So, in summary, we're in for a wet, windy, stormy couple of weeks, especially this weekend. That needs watching. It could be very, very wild out there. Very, very unsettled. Quite violent weather coming up, possibly. So, that's it for today's video. I may not be able to upload a video tomorrow because I'm back to school after Christmas. But if I can, I will. But if I don't see you tomorrow, I'll see you on Friday or Saturday. Definitely, I will. Anyway, thanks for watching, and bye for now.